Welcome to Concussion Talk Podcast, presented by Head Check Health. Head Check Health bridges gaps in concussion care through simple, powerful technology. Join organizations like the Canadian Football League, Track Factory Racing, the Canadian Junior Hockey League, Eastern Washington University, and Volleyball Canada. Rely on Head Check to boost communication and optimize care. Visit headcheckhealth.com for more. This is episode 165, I believe. And my guest today is Paul Moores, who I recently just met at the pool. So we're gonna find out all about Paul Moores. First of all, I knew how to paint. That's why I asked on the podcast. So that's the main thing. But well, first of all, I'll find out the Paul Moores together. So well, again, welcome to Concussion Talk Podcast, and like, subscribe, whatever, rate, review, YouTube, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Google, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Yeah, so let's just jump right in because I haven't done one in a while, so I'm being a bit hectic with my promotion stuff. I don't know what's going on, what I should say and stuff. So, but first, please start talking to Paul Moore, which is more important than any of this stuff. So, Paul, thank you so much for doing this podcast.
Oh, you're welcome.
And I guess first of all, I'll start with just your just briefly who are you, and how you get your injury and what year it was and how old you were at the time. So yes.
Well, I guess in the most recent history, 2016 is when I got my concussion. Doing Ironman Mount Tremblant. Completed the swim, was halfway through on the bike, and I had a bicycle accident with another cyclist. And funny enough, like, I'm a pretty big boy, but and there's not a lot of big triathletes like myself, but the guy that hit me was the same size as me. So I was basically I was in a coma for 3 or 4 days.
Wow.
I was in Montreal hospital for about a week, came home, was here for another week, and then I was on basically outpatient care from the local hospital after that for about a year, and then I'm retired now.
Well, there you go. So that's wow, that's impressive. So because we, as I mentioned before, we just met in the pool. Well, first met at the Arena, but that shut down for probably 2 years. We're thinking, or they say year,
Yeah.
And but but a different pool now, and I met Paul. I met Paul. I met Paul at the Arena, but secondly, I met at the Paul Reynolds doing. He's actually, we were both swimming, but he's actually staying a bit longer because he was going to coach. So she was going to talk about just before brain injuries because you coached before brain injury. So what did you coach? Because it wasn't just swimming, was it?
Well, my coaching background, I guess, was from the time I was like 19 years old or 20 years old. I coached basketball. Basketball was my primary sport, and I went back to my high school and coached there for about 6 or 7 years, and then graduated into coaching at the local university here. Coached the men for a couple of years, or as an assistant coach, and the same thing then with the girls for a year. And my son was just coming of age, so then I think it was grade 4 for him. So I started coaching him in all the leagues as he grew up through to high school. And I coached the Canada Games team with our assistant coach again with the Canada Games girls team. And then I went back and I coached after my injury. I went back to coaching junior high basketball. And I coached there for 4 years, and then last year I went to high school. This year I said, I'm done with that now. And then
Yeah.
Somebody told me that a local school needed a coach. I said, okay, I'll do it. So, and I'm
Nice.
kind of glad I did.
That's no, that's impressive. That's impressive, right? So when did you start doing triathlon and
Oh, so a triathlon. I
swimming? Was like majority came first.
Yeah, so I was never a great swimmer, but I could swim.
Yeah.
And I had torn my ACL when I was in university, and the doctor that did the surgery, he said, "Well, he said you'll be back in a few years, like 30 or 40 years." He
Yeah.
said, "We're going to have arthritis in your knee. We're going to replace your knee." Da 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 da. Uh, I went to him probably 15 years ago. My knee was really bothering me, and he said, "You need a new knee." He said, but he knew how active I was, and he said, let's see what we can do to delay that. And he's, why don't you take up some swimming or cycling? And I said, okay.
Nice.
And I started swimming a lot and biking a lot. And then all of a sudden I lost a bit of weight. And my knee was feeling stronger. So I dabbled at running. And then next, I was able to run a marathon,
Nice.
uh,
Jeez.
even with a bad knee.
Uh,
So that's how I really got into
all,
triathlon.
so kind of all at once, gradually
Yeah,
all at once, as they say.
yeah.
So what's your favorite discipline of the three? Do you have one or do you just
Well,
find out that Altman?
it's like, what's your favorite child?
Yeah.
I'm swimming is my strongest of the three. I
Definitely.
like cycling, I think, the most.
Yeah,
And I detested running,
I
but
still
now
do.
that I can't run, it's the one I miss.
Yeah. Uh,
you know, so
yeah, it's easy getting out, just running from wherever. It's like it's such a simple activity to do because you can just run anytime from anywhere. Just a
yeah,
pair of sneakers all you need, a pair of running shoes, tennis shoes, whatever is said, except for I call them sneakers, but that's like a kid's way of saying it apparently. But running shoes or tennis shoes, I don't understand tennis shoes. Anyway, that's popular thing in the States, they say tennis shoes, which I don't get.
well, back in the day, that's what we used.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So,
I
yeah,
can
so
remember in high school, and when I was in high school, I ran a 5 kilometer road race wearing a pair of Converse Cons. So they
oh
had no.
yeah, yeah, exactly, yeah. Converse, not they were cheap shoe, weren't they? Or they were
They
just
were, yeah,
yeah,
just
like
canvas with a bit of rubber on the bottom.
yeah, yeah. Nice. So yeah, so you have back coaching. You said because you were see as you told us your background is kind of have you have not kind of you do have background in coaching, but your rehab one of your therapists said to you that you should get back to coaching because
Yeah,
you
well, part of, I guess, the rehab after I knew I wasn't going back to work,
yeah
uh, the psychologist that I was seeing as part of the outpatient clinic after my injury, she said, when I talked to you, she said, when you talk about your coaching, she said, there's a little glint in your eye. She said, that I don't normally see. She said, why don't you try to go back coaching? And it just so happened that one of the teachers that was responsible for the basketball program at a school my son used to go to, I happened to meet him one day at lunch, and I told him, something about going back to coaching. He said, that's funny. We're looking for a coach. So that's how I went back into it. And it was the same time, I guess, that one of my big mentors in the triathlon, Christiane Martin, she was retiring and she was moving back to Germany, but she had a core group of women that she was coaching Tuesdays and Thursdays, and it was in the middle of the day. And of course, when she moves away, it's hard to find a coach in the
yeah
daytime to
yeah.
coach. And she said, Paul, you might be really good for this. And I've been doing that ever since. So
No,
probably
so
4
I think that's a great story because they can just train them very even if you're not brain injured or what, but it's just doing something that you love, and that's well, I mean, this is obviously perfect, but just something you love, but just be able to just teach others about what you've learned or what you hope to learn as you go along, because you're newly into triathlon relatively. So you decide, and you don't coach. It's not because you don't have some sort of desire to only coach elite athletes, because these are coaching great athletes, but not going to the Olympics. Once you coach them, or not they don't have dreams of going to the Olympics, but they do have dreams of competing well and training well and just being fit and being having fun. So if you want to just talk about who you're coaching and not who specifically, but like what type of athlete you would like coaching most.
Well, I think currently is 15 or 16 women that I coach. And as a matter of fact, I have two people outside of them who came to me and for some one-on-one coaching. But the core group of women I coach, there are some beginner swimmers and
Yeah,
there's some advanced swimmers all within that same group. So we have one woman who was a swimmer all her life. When children came along, it became not part of her life, and
yeah,
now that she's close on retirement, she's
I got it.
embraced swimming again.
Yeah,
And what what she's wants when she goes to this swim event or swim coaching session are different than a couple of the ladies I have who 2 or 3 years ago had a struggle to swim 25 meters, one length of the pool. So our workouts uh, kind of lend to both. So um, I might have some basic skills that we work on, which may be the dominant portion of the workout for the beginner swimmers, but almost like a warm up for the event swimmers.
great.
And
Okay.
I try to challenge them in all dynamics of their swimming, whether their endurance or their skills. It never hurts for even a good swimmer to reevaluate their uh,
No,
skill level.
exactly. Yeah. Well, that's great. So it's actually we missed that and asked you. You have waited this long to ask you, but what challenges did you find specifically after your ranger? And you see what this is leading afterwards. So after your ranger, what challenges did you find this jump back, but still?
Well, in general, I guess the big thing was fatigue or the lack of my giddy up and go.
Right.
As
Yeah.
I was the type of guy that put 100% everything into everything, but I never.
You're like type A?
Oh, definitely type A
Yeah.
plus, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, and but I didn't have a lot of concentration. I don't know if that's a side effect of being a type A, but I would delve into something and then something else would attract me. Okay, now I'm gonna go do
Yeah.
that. And
Yeah.
I found that disappeared after the brain injury. You know, plus the fact that you're just whatever you do fatigues you. And
Yeah.
again, going back to my outpatient and to the rehab people down there, um, I remember having the conversation saying, like, I can do more this week than I could last week.
Yeah.
I get really tired now.
Yeah.
And, but then 2 weeks later, I go, okay, I'm better again and I can concentrate more, but I can't do it for very long. And, it would build, but my stamina at the new level
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
sacrificed, we'll say.
Yeah, I think that's so frustrating. When you're like, you go, well, I'm doing better than that. Oh, maybe I'm not. Maybe it's be a push hard. No, I think I'm doing better. Like you still up and way up and down, and but it is like generally. I mean, it goes on and down, but it's generally up toward like you as long as the time as long as you're doing something you love and you're active at, you will improve, but it's just a matter of, unfortunately, it's a matter of time. But how do you find that aspect that it affect your coaching, your ability to coach, say, different skill levels and people who define challenges with their what they're swimming or basketball or whatever, but whoever you're coaching your athletes and yeah, like they find challenges and you'd be able to relate to them, or how do you find
Well,
what you went through?
yeah, um, I guess so. And one of the other side effects, obviously, is your memory, your lack of short term memory. But again, getting better and better and better.
Yeah,
Uh, but I don't think that the kids really know because you
yeah,
know, they're in grade 7, they're 12 years old,
yeah, not paying attention as much to that.
right? And they don't notice
Yeah,
things like that. And I made sure that when I coached, that I had a good assistant coach with me, just in case, I've got that support there with
yeah,
me. Uh, Nothing that I really needed, but it was good to have it, just in
yeah,
case I did. Um, but there was no real challenges, especially when I would coach a practice. Uh, I would sit down the day before and I would write out, okay, this is what we're going to cover, and then I had it in my hand and say, okay, we're going to spend 20 minutes on this, and then we're going to move on to this, and it was shared with my assistant coaches as well.
right. So, but did you find that anything that you think you've overcome the challenges of your own, like your memory and your fatigue since your accident? Did you find that's helped you relate or coach people who are just going through everyday challenges of everyday coaching challenges, like everyday trying to find their better swim stroke or better basketball shot or better like do you find it easier to more patience or whatever to coaching them? Do you find if you find any aspect that does help you?
Well, I don't know the answer to that question. So I guess it's you develop compensatory habits, like I said, like
Yeah,
having that sheet of paper with me, knowing what we're going to
yeah,
cover in practice. Um, the demand on my memory wasn't other than what I had remembered to look at my sheet.
yeah.
If I couldn't remember what we were doing next. Um, so
But do you find that when you coach other with coaching the people you coach, do they respond to you better because you understand that there's the challenges they're going through, or you would at least appreciate the challenges more or
Yeah,
different.
well, I have to say that since my injury, I'm more open to change,
Yeah.
uh,
Okay.
and more accepting of
Yeah.
uh, people with a challenge. And it doesn't
Yeah.
matter if it's a learning disability
There's
or,
limit.
exactly all those things. So I'm more patient that way. And, you know, as I'm coaching kids, they don't know, and I don't think they appreciate my background. They
Yeah.
just know that, hey, we're here to play basketball, we're here to have
Yeah.
fun. Whatever happens
Right.
is good for them. But yeah, I don't know if that still doesn't really answer your question,
No,
does it?
it kind of does it better. It's like my big questions are kind of randomly strewn about, and yeah, we're gonna have done this podcast in a while that these questions are going to be kind of not as well evolved as because I only know when I'm talking to like I decided I think the because if I've been meeting you and knowing you out of range, well, I figured what a great story to talk to you about like this about whole triathlon. It was just but more so about how life is your life is obviously changed because you're tired, but like how is your life? How do you find your life is different? If you say, I know you've retired, but I mean, it's a bit different that way. But can you discern how your life has changed from before injury to now?
Oh, absolutely. Life has changed. Again, because I was a triathlete,
Yeah,
my normal mode was to wake up at 5 or 5:30 in the morning and do some sort of activity, whether it be a swim or a bike or a
yeah,
run. and have my breakfast, go to work, do what I had to do at work,
Yeah.
come home, and then integrate what else had to be done that day as far as
Yeah.
training into my family life, Um, so that there was a big void, I guess, when work disappeared. And because of all the ancillary ailments that came along with the bike accident, other than the brain injury, I couldn't really bike much. Definitely can't run anymore. And even for the first, I don't know, it was probably 2 months, I wasn't allowed to swim.
Really?
And well, yeah, well, because
Oops.
one of the problems that I had is I would have I forget the technical name for it, but it was a seizure basically,
Oh,
and I was on a drug to prevent those seizures.
yeah.
And when I told the doctor I was back swimming, he went, "No, you can't swim while you're on this drug." And he said, "If you have a seizure in the pool," he
Yeah.
said, "it might be lights out." So
Yeah.
he said, that can't happen. He says, so I had to wait a couple of months before and get the A-OK before I could return to the pool.
Did you have a lot of like therapy stage your psychologist in your, but did you have a lot of the OT or physio or speech?
Yes, I absolutely did. It's funny too because shout out to the OT people here at the hospital.
Yeah.
One of the girls that I saw was a girl I used to coach when she was
All
at
right.
university. Um, but
She's still playing?
no, she's not playing, but her daughter is. Her daughter is a very, very good player. um, so the I had a broken clavicle and a
Oh,
broken rib, and a broken
yeah.
spine, a broken leg.
Oh, Jesus.
So all those.
The good crash.
It was a good one, yeah. Well, you can imagine now two movable objects. I was
Yeah.
250 pounds, and I had another guy who was 250 pounds, and we
You
hit.
found, you found the one guy who's your size, did you?
Yep. Well, I have no idea how fast he was going, but I know when I was going down to Plessis Hill in Tremblant, I was doing 70 kilometers an hour. So I'm assuming he did the same thing. So
Yeah.
I was going up when he was coming down, and
Yeah.
you know, but that's it.
But that's it, right? Yeah.
Accidents happen.
Yeah. So you're saying with the OT, the OT? Sorry.
Oh, so yeah, the OTs, they help me uh, resume activity, sort of thing. And then a good friend of mine, he's a physiotherapist. I happened to go see him, and that was kind of like as I was leaving the outpatient from the hospital, and he kind of knew what happened to me, but he wasn't really aware of where I was, sort of thing. And the first session I went to see him, he was like, "Wow, we got a lot of work to do."
Yeah. Yeah.
So I probably saw him for 2 or 3 months, probably.
Oh, yeah.
Then I managed to go back and I started working out with him. He had a regular weekly group session, and
Oh,
he invited me and said, "Why don't you come in with us?" And sure enough, I did until my knee got so bad that I couldn't do it anymore.
so yeah, that's from your old injury. Your knee is bad from your
Yeah,
from this injury.
I'm still on the list to get a knee replacement done.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
So not seeing the pool when you get that, but
yeah.
for a while.
I
For a while.
I I was told that when the surgery happens, that I got 6 weeks, I won't be allowed to drive a car. So I imagine I'll be out of the pool for 6 weeks
Yeah,
as well.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I still because I'm kind of jumping around now. Like I said before, it's been a while, but zoom back to your what am I jump? Oh yeah, the coach. How you coaching now? Have you kind of coach kind of straight through your injury? Like you really take much a break, really? Or did you? I know you took a break after your 2016 is your injury. When did you stop coaching for right for more? before injury.
Well, I get so what I when it came to basketball, I stopped coaching basketball when my son uh, graduated high school.
Okay,
So
which was
that's he's 32 years old now. So he
also
was
14 years ago.
14 years ago,
Yeah. Wonder.
and yeah, so I had a good 10-year break
Yeah.
of coaching
Already.
basketball. You
Yeah.
know, and again, the swimming thing only happened because of my accident.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
So yeah. So how have you found like coaching has helped you recover not from any other thing, but like from your range, from your memory, your fatigue. How have you felt to feeling the coaching has really helped you with that?
Oh, absolutely. And I guess I come from the camp of what doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Right.
Um, the swimming again. I can do my preliminary work at home the day before or the
Okay.
morning of, and come to the pool and say, "This is your workout."
Yeah.
So it helped insofar of my planning ability, because when you're coaching, especially when you're coaching over a span the same group of people over a span of say 6 or 7 months, you have to have a grand plan, and then you had to break that down into progressions. So okay, we're going to spend 3 months on this skill, but at the same time we're going to work on another skill, and as one decreases in volume, the other one increases in volume, sort of thing. And you got to plan. If it's 2 swims a week over 3 months, you got to break down what it is you're going to do in every single practice or session over that period. you know
Right.
so again, compensatory skills that you pick up, and is having a computer and the ability to say, okay, this is what we did last week, and this is what we're going to do next week, and this is
And like having to think about your athletes, just trying to think about what they need and what they're doing. So
yeah,
that,
absolutely.
that helped your mind recover, your brain recover.
Yeah. And even as a coach, I'm growing as a coach.
Yeah.
How I coach now is different than how I coached 3 or 4 years ago. So I like to think I'm becoming a better coach every year. But I spend a good few times or a few hours a week researching what can I do better to make
Yeah.
it easier, better for the athletes.
I think that's a great way to just involve yourself in sports and just feel like you're really helping start with it's really helping somebody who wants to just either get better, compete more, or whatever, just stay fit and be active and just enjoy themselves playing or competing or whatever. So,
Yeah.
but like I saying, like the plan is, well, for me, the plan, I'm sure I'll definitely try to get the pool tomorrow. But you sent me a picture just before I sent you. So I don't know. Should I even bother to go to the pool tomorrow, or should I? Because it looks like a car went through the window. Only the main floor window of the pool.
Yeah.
So
I don't know how long the pool's going to be shut down. I would imagine it's just a window as far as I
yeah,
can
the
see,
thing
you know, but who knows what type of
is on the
damage is
pool
done,
deck.
how long it takes to get a piece of glass.
Man, yeah, I wonder if they. I have to check the pool's website, but and to see if they've. Well, I'm sure they will. I'm sure somebody will find out. They'll be able to find it easy enough. It's a hidden pool. I think it's a pretty well-known pool. So yeah. So hopefully though we'll see you tomorrow at the pool. And if we are gonna go, if we can't go, if we're allowed in the pool, but it was on a pool deck, wasn't it? Like that car ended up gets the whole glass area is a pool deck, isn't it?
Well, like he couldn't make it to the pool deck because
No.
it ran through the window right where
Yeah.
the big slide is. So the
Yeah.
slide would have
Okay.
stopped. But I just think, imagine if you were a poor lifeguard and you were sitting there, it was
Yeah,
nice, and next thing you know, car
yeah,
comes through the
yeah.
window.
Pretty yeah, because I guess no the chair liquor chair is further down the pool deck, but so I guess you're sitting there, but yeah, I mean, because like I wonder what happened. So there's a lot of questions, but hopefully find out a bit tomorrow. And yeah, so Paul, thank you so much for doing this podcast, and I hope to get this out, probably fix up tonight, and hope to get this out for tomorrow for what's October 24th tomorrow. And
Yes.
yes, if not 24th, then Halloween. So, but hopefully the 24th. And yeah, so thank you so much. And like I
My
said,
pleasure.
yeah, hopefully see you tomorrow morning. Tomorrow
That's the
morning.
plan.
Yeah, hopefully that car's gone away now and windows
Yeah.
fixed, or at
Yeah.
least temporarily fixed.
We hope.
Yeah. So thank you so much, and thank you everybody for listening to this podcast. And I have another podcast guest not lined up yet, but thought of at least. So I will ask that person, and then hopefully have another podcast out again before I don't know when, who knows, but soon. Let's say that. But yes, thank you again, Paul, and thank
Okay.
you for everybody for listening.